Stupid letters. My hands. Dirty. The dirt won't come off. Co-host? What a joke. Co-host? Co-host of what? His podcast? How they love him. Look at him lying there, asleep. That idol, the idol of millions. He's a fool. A lying, silly little fool. How easily I could end the farce. With these hands. These dirty hands. And with these hands, I hold the fate of millions. They think he's a god. But he's as mortal as we. I know. Just one quick twist, and it's over. Just one.
Oh. Oh my god. Do we start yet?
Yeah, we started, man. What are you doing?
Oh my god. It's a long day. Hey everybody, welcome to another Raised by Tunes. Sorry there, it's been a long day. I was up all last night getting ready for our new episode. My name is Dan, Dr. Stupid Mason.
And I'm Chad Belly Button Elf Cook.
And today we're brought to you by Log from Blammo.
Yes, Log. All kids love Log.
One rolls downstairs, owner and cares, rolls over your neighbor's dog. Looks great for a snack, fits on your back. It's long, long, long. It's long, long. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's long, long. It's better than that, it's good. Everyone wants a log.
Yeah!
Build it and love it all.
Oh boy!
Come and get your log.
Hurrah!
Everyone needs a log.
Log from Blammo.
Thank you, Blammo, for sponsoring us today.
Thank you oh so much.
And if you're hearing this and you recognize Log from Blammo, you must know that we are doing Ren and Stimpy Show! Scat! Fat cat! Ren! Rick! Dan! Chad! Know it! Instrumental cat song, super loud, be a drum. As everyone at home is just like, oh, just ripping their eardrums.
Oh, yeah. You
You
gotta melt those faces off with that guitar, like. Love it. Love
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a little tasty ditty. I don't know where I'm even start. Oh yeah, so that was actually a bunch of Spoonco employees.
Yeah?
Called Die Screaming Lederhosen. That is true.
Really?
Yep. The animation company that did the first few seasons of Ren and Stimpy created a band and made that song for it called the Dog Pound Hop.
Dog Pound Hop. That, I mean, it works.
It got me moving. Woo! So Ren and Stimpy Show is a little off-color humor show.
Mm-hmm.
Slapstick, satirical. And it started August 11th, 1991.
Should we...
Oh, shoot!
Oh, what?
I was just... I don't see your badge anywhere.
What badge?
I can't go into the episode if you're not a member of the Ren and Stimpy Fan Club.
Oh, well, is there a way to become a full-fledged member?
I'm glad you asked. Raised by Tunes, Tunesters, here, live for the first time ever, the Raised by Tunes team is going to do the Ren and Stimpy Fan Oath. So this is going to initiate our friend here, Chad.
All right.
But you at home can join along, and if you don't, just shut off the episode because you can't listen. We don't want you
That's
type.
true. I mean, I enforce it since I'm going to be one here.
This is a highbrow show. So, Chad?
Yeah?
Repeat after me.
Okay.
I, Chad Cook,
I, Chad Cook,
human,
promise
to watch the Ren and Stimpy Show until my eyeballs implode.
Promise to watch the Ren and Stimpy Show until my eyeballs implode.
Close enough.
Okay.
Even if it goes into 10 years of reruns.
Even if it goes into 10 years of reruns.
I promise to memorize whole episodes.
I promise to memorize whole episodes.
And recite the lines shamelessly in unwelcome situations.
And recite the lines shamelessly in unwelcome situations.
I promise to wear unwashed lederhosen every single day of the rest of my life.
I promise to wear unwashed lederhosen every single day of the rest of my life.
That's it. You're in the secret club.
Awesome.
Congratulations,
yeah!
That means you too, at home, are now in the Ren and Stimpy Secret Club, which actually takes place deep inside the belly, large intestine of a sperm whale. So let's get into it now that we can talk freely about it amongst friends and loyal Yaxmen. The start date of Ren and Stimpy was August 11th, 1991. And it premiered with Doug and Rugrats, to give you an idea.
Classic cartoons. We already went over somewhat of Rugrats on a past episode.
Yep, a past over episode. Hey! This is our last episode, I think. So those were the first 3 Nicktoons. It ended December 16th, 1995. It started John Crispolucci.
He's from Canada.
He's from Canada. And Billy West, as you all know from Fry. He was also the voice of Doug.
He even did Bugs Bunny for a short time.
Yep.
And many other characters you obviously would recognize.
We will say Billy West a lot in this show. But John K., as you will be now referred to.
Smart. Which
he actually did in the show as well, if you look at the credits. But he was the voice of Ren for the first 3 seasons.
Really?
Yeah, and in '93 he got the boot.
He was fighting with the producers. The
VP of animation, Vanessa Coffey.
Yeah.
She tried to hold the thing together, but the history books will claim that John K. was late with his timelines and his deadlines, and the battle he would constantly have about the censorship board.
Oh yeah, lots of controversy in the show.
Yeah,
but I mean, with I kind of miss that when you kind of notice when he does, because the psychological
when John K. was in charge, there was a lot of psychologically dense episodes.
Yeah. Sorry about that brain fart.
Yeah, as much as people will reminisce on Ren and Stimpy and think of fart jokes and grotesque close-ups and, just some fart humor, it was actually, when John K. was at the helm of the ship, there was a lot of psychological complexity that was, when they left, they traded it for violence.
Yeah, and although I do love my violence, but I do miss the psychological threats and like demeaning humor that the 2 characters would put each other through.
You would. You seem like the type that would just hover over somebody and just chanting some sort of demented mantra to yourself.
Especially while they're sleeping, it's...
What?
Well, you stand over someone sleeping and you just whisper over their... Well, they're not... I guess they're conscious. I don't know. I mean, I never really check. But
hey, did you know that there were celebrity guests on the show?
Oh, really? Who?
Well, there Frank Zappa, Randy Quaid.
Wow, really?
There was, I remember Mark Hamill made a cameo. The voice of the Joker, and also Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Dom DeLuise and Phil Hartman while they were alive.
Really? Oh, I think I remember Gilbert Gottfried even showed up on one of them.
Yep.
That's crazy.
You don't forget Gilbert Gottfried.
No, you never. Iago, I mean...
But Ren and Stimpy was a lot more than just fart jokes, and besides the psyche that we were talking about, which I want to go into because it was very layered.
Yeah.
How he would get into the characters' heads with animations that were very form-fitting to what you would actually do in real life, and then exaggerated. Yeah. So opposed to eye popping. I mean, they did that.
Yes.
But opposed to just eye popping, they would have something behind it as well. Little subtle featurettes in the face.
Like it would start with maybe like drips of sweat, and then the mouth and the eyes would contort into different positions that would be like Picasso-like almost, where it's just not formed correctly. Like sometimes I couldn't even tell Ren was an actual dog.
He's a mosquito.
He looks a mosquito. Like, well, let's actually tell them. I mean, for those who probably never seen the show, that's rare though. That Ren and Stimpy are a dog and cat.
One is a
Chihuahua.
An asthma hound, Chihuahua.
Asthma hound Chihuahua. And the other is a Cornish Rex cat.
How'd you remember that?
I don't know. It's very...
I was sweating because I was like, I forgot what Stimpy is.
Well, I mean, but he's red and white. I don't think there's an actual red, unless you mean orange, but I don't know. But yeah, so he's red and white, and he's very more portly than Ren is. He's very skinny, scrawny. Like I don't think Holocaust would be a good comparison, so I'll stay away from that.
It's never one. Okay, I don't think it's ever been one.
I edited myself.
No, you didn't, because we're too lazy to go back and edit these. So what we say is this is it. This is done. Okay, so that's in the books now.
It's in.
Right up
gone.
there with Mouse Cooch. Thanks, Chad.
Hey!
We got a quite freaking...
The shirts are almost...
They're almost sold out,
almost sold out.
Granted. Okay. Ren's voice, done by John Kay, was described as a demented Peter Lorre, to give you guys a little bit of an idea.
Like how can I do this? But obviously a little bit more mixed with the maybe Kirk Douglas or
like a Michael Douglas,
Michael Douglas,
Bert Ives maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Kirk Douglas. You're right. It was Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
Ha!
You idiot!
Stimpy could only be described as a sort of amped up Larry Fine from the Three Stooges.
Very
Ren.
Oh, I can't even do it.
That was Hans Moleman.
Oh, boy. Ren.
Ren and Stimpy originally was part of a show called Our Gain or Your Gain. One of those.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was a parody. It was a cartoon parodying genres.
Yeah.
And Ren and Stimpy were the pets of one of the characters that broke into the dog-cat chasing genre.
I think I do remember that. That's... Yeah.
So, when Vanessa Coffey was approaching John Kay about creating a new show, and she didn't like anything else from it, she said, well, what about these two? So he took that and went with it, and in the first episode, you can see that they get picked up from the dog catcher. They're about to go for the big sleep, if you remember the term.
Homeward bound.
The big sleep! The big sleep!
He did scream that. Didn't he have like some kind of poodle outfit on to get adopted, or to?
Yeah, he took the belly button lint from Stimpy's. Yeah, and made himself try to look more attractive. Actually, the whole opening credits is from that episode.
Yeah. But we probably don't know how they transferred to what some of the later episodes were, where they're living in a trailer and they share the same bed, and like what town are they in?
They're in Hollywood, Yugoslavia. That's true. That's true. In Stimpy's Stimpy's fan club.
Fan club.
In Stimpy's fan club, they receive a piece of mail that says Hollywood, Yugoslavia.
And
so that is official. That
only
is
to be curious, is there a Hollywood in Yugoslavia?
Probably not.
Yeah,
but a lot of stuff.
Get my hopes up. I guess.
But I'm actually glad you asked about brought up the fact that there's no real transition or explanation of how they got into the certain scenarios that they face, and it's actually because John Kay took a book out of Tex Avery. If anybody saw last week's tribute episode to Tex Avery, this is the next step to the new golden age of animation. As Tex Avery created, if the characters were in space, why are they in space? It doesn't matter. They're in space. Like that was the idea.
Just where they are, and what they're doing. I mean, like, no episode continued from another one. It's very single shots. And, like, one episode, they're astronauts. One episode, they're salesmen.
Commander Hoek and Cadet Stimpy. But, yeah, John K. said that's just what a cartoon is. Haven't you ever seen a cartoon before? That was an actual quote from a battle he was having against Nickelodeon.
Wow.
Yeah. And those two butted heads, but we have a special segment we want to get into with one of the guests.
Oh, yes.
From Ren and Stimpy. This is called World Crisis with Mr. Horse. You remember him. So, Mr. Horse, that sounds like the setup to the Mr. Owl. How many
licks does it take?
I annoy myself.
Well, you know, I didn't want to say anything, but...
So, Mr. Horse, as you may have heard, Uganda's civil unrest against the United Nations has constantly had back and forth and coming up to terms with new negotiations. So the Colonel of Zimbabwe is now recommending a retreat or, by at least 2016, hosting a sort of truce. How do you feel about this?
No, sir, I don't like it.
Thank you, Mr. Horse. I'm glad we had 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Horse. We'll be back later with some more of Mr. Horse's opinions and segments.
Such a big question for a...
He's not a man of many words, but I do like it.
He's very stoic.
So back to the Tex Avery. What's
What's the difference with Ren and Stimpy? Is that what you're trying to get at?
No, his.
Let's force it out of you. Let's get it.
His
influence.
Influence.
That's He found the word, folks.
Fuck yes,
he got it. Influence.
Damn, his influence on Ren and Stimpy was a huge step because it was around the same time where Simpsons and Ren and Stimpy were the new age of animation going into a satirical, adult-themed cartoon age.
Leading the way for, like, such shows like Beavis and Butthead.
Yep. Mike Judge even said that Ren and Stimpy
really
paved the way for that. What other shows were South Park.
Oh, yeah, South Park.
Yeah.
Definitely South Park.
Before we go into a few questions and topics I wanted to bring up, what cereal do you think would be the best pairing for the Ren and Stimpy Show?
A question of the ages. Well, would you like to go first? Or
I guess I will.
I mean, I could go first.
You go first.
All right, I'll go first. Okay. I would choose a bowl, a large bowl, like a chip bowl, like the size of a chip bowl, of Corn Pops. And the reason being is because in the cartoon, not in the cartoon, in actual commercial real life, they were on the cover of a Pops box. And it was probably a short, limited time, I would think. But I mean, they were very profitable show, so they
huge merchandising rights, which John K. did not benefit from.
No, he did not.
He sold the rights right off the bat, which we can get into in a second.
He pulled a James Cameron.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to have to go with Frosted Mini Wheats.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you why.
Why's that?
When Snick was first promoting Ren and Stimpy and some of the more adult-themed shows for the nighttime crowds, there was a commercial that had Ren drowning and Stimpy saving him, and it was because Snick offered a water keychain.
Really?
Yeah, so they had them drowning, and then it pulled out, and they were part of the keychain for the Frosted Mini Wheat cereal.
Huh. Oh, yeah. Kind of.
Once again,
you upstage me there with the specific
so
on your cereal. So
a lot of my cereal accompaniments are based upon the toy inside. As we did with Rescue Rangers.
That's true. That's true.
Tiny Toons specifically was just the toy inside I wanted.
I lost all those toys.
Yep. And that's why you're dead inside.
I never have a
And I
reason
bet
to
it
wake up.
I bet it eats you up, doesn't it?
It does.
That's great.
It's like those scarabs you get in Egypt that just eat you from the inside out.
Yeah.
That's-
You look like the
Every
man
day.
who's lost a lot.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
But I wanna talk about the premise of the show.
Okay.
It's a variety show.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, that's the easiest way you can describe it.
Definitely. I mean, sometimes there is a segue of things where the commercials in the show are them actually watching TV, but there are immediate cuts into different shows where it's following characters like, what's his name?
Muddy Mudskipper.
Muddy Mudskipper.
Who's the greatest mudskipper of them all? But they would, go on.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, and pretty much, there's such depth to these smaller characters like Muddy, and he's like this old-time comedian that would be, I mean, I think it's been said he's compared to...
that 30s comedian.
Yeah. He's only amazing on stage, but behind the stage he's very grumpy and like...
He's like Krusty the Clown.
Yeah, pretty much. And he calls like everybody a lousy bum, God, man, yeah.
One of those 30s washed-up comedians.
Yeah.
Kid, you'll never make it in this town.
Let me tell you a story, you lousy bum.
Like Stimpy's Big Day, I think
Yeah,
it's called. When he wins the Gritty Kitty competition.
Yes. He writes a poem, and he wins $47 million?
$47 million! The Gritty Kitty poem. Gritty Kitty ain't so pretty, but it's really thick. It fills my cat box oh so snug, it always does the trick. I like to rub it on my toes and squish and squish and squish. It near offends my tender nose like a smelly fish. Its texture is a joy to me, it's just as smooth as silk. It makes my little whiskers twitch. It stays crunchy, even in milk. I may not be the president, I may not be the pope, but as long as I have Gritty Kitty, I shall never mope.
Did you memorize that?
As much as the paper allowed me to.
Okay. All right then.
There's tear stains drenched.
But it was a lovely poem.
That's beautiful. That deserved $47 million.
Hey.
But you're right, Chad. The ancillary characters do provide just as much, if not more, than Ren and Stimpy. You have Muddy Mudskipper. You have Powdered Toast Man.
You have Mr. and Mrs. Pipe.
Yep,
they're the traditional parents, wife and husband that you only see the bottom half, but you see a bit more sometimes of the wife. You'll see like her shoulder, her neck to her feet, and but the father you'd only see from the waist down.
His knee-high socks.
Oh yes, his knee-high socks. He's never wearing
loafers
pants
or something.
Yes,
like a robe.
And whenever he talks, his pipe comes down from screen, so it's the longest pipe you can possibly imagine.
No matter where he is.
Yeah, it's always
where the screen ends. His pipe will be there, even if it's at like his foot. It's one of the first cartoons to do the variety show sketch thing, and in a
the characters even address that they are in a show.
They do address with fan mail.
The actual fan club episode, and they it takes a break out of it, so it breaks the fourth wall and everything.
They constantly look at the screen and give you a
Mm-hmm.
That was an eyebrow lift for those of you that didn't know. But if you speak tune, you got it.
The wink wow is a commonly used sound effect. Although his sounds more like a window wiper, but you get it.
But it was one of the first to do fake products, which is ridiculous.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why anybody even bothers to do this. But today was brought to you by this.
Yes, Log. All kids
Thank you, Log from Blammo.
One rolls downstairs,
Over repairs, nobody your neighbor's dog. It's good for a snack if it's on your back. It's Log, Log, Toonsters! Log, it's Log, it's big, it's heavy, it's work. It's Log, it's better than that, it's good. Everyone wants a log. You're gonna get a log. I'm gonna get your log. Everyone wants a log.
Log from
Blammo.
We get like $16 every time we play that. So, Toonsters, be prepared for like 15 more of those guys.
Every time the word... Nah.
Say it.
Every time the word log comes up.
Oh, we're fucking rich!
Fuck yeah!
Oh. Woo! Anyway, they're one of the first to do that. I mean, fake products are stupid. Anyway, this one's sponsored by Log. Also, no, we won't do it again.
Well, the variation products were also creative. Like, yeah, I mean, even the variations on the log itself, like log, what was the? Oh yeah, high crap. I forget. High fashion log.
High fashion
girls.
log for girls.
It's a log with clothes, pretty much, and how they attach the clothes is just ridiculous. Where they nail it to the side of the log,
Which reminds me of Super Log. Where
Oh.
it's just a taxidermy chipmunk with its feet nailed into the top.
Classic.
But the brands themselves acted as a character on their own, too.
Definitely.
Dog water. Like, what was the... instead of champagne tonight, try dog water. Perfect for marriage proposals. What was some of the other ones?
There was powdered toast.
Oh,
cereal.
powdered toast!
Was it was
No,
cereal, right?
No, powdered toast, now with vitamin F,
Oh, yeah.
was just you shake it out of the can and toast would appear.
Oh.
Yeah. And to give it that extra powdered taste, Powdered Toast Man would fly in and fart on your toast.
Oh, yes. He would solve any issue incidentally, but he's there to only fart on your toast.
Now, here at Raised by Tunes, we don't logically know if farting on toast makes it taste better. I wouldn't try it at home, so
Well,
this is going to be a discretionary warning.
I mean, I tempted it, but I didn't. It wasn't cinnamon that. I didn't have powder that came out on the toast. It was.
Mr. Horace, what do you think about it?
No, sir, I don't like it.
All right, well, that's your opinion.
Well, yeah.
We're going to use that, too, a lot. It took us like 10 minutes to cue it up, so there's no way in hell I'm not
you're
using
gonna
that.
hear it whenever we
You're
want
gonna
you to hear
fucking sit there and like it, because if you're listening to us still, if you listen to this show for more than 6 minutes, you
go
have
crazy.
cursed yourself. You have doomed yourself.
You
Speaking
just
of dooming
Feed
yourself,
yourself.
what product would you actually use in real life?
Really? A
Out
real
of-
life?
So I'm trying to think of a bunch of examples.
Well,
if I can.
obviously, for me, since I'm not the... I don't like to move too much.
Mhm.
So what I would want is the gritty kitty litter. And
Okay.
I'd have my kitty litter box in my room, and then I'd just pee in that. And then, dump it later.
You are a cat bear.
Pretty much.
In heart and spirit.
Cat bear. But I mean, it's a logical use. You don't have to really. I mean, you're not using water. You're saving the earth by peeing in that litter box.
Chad, I'm so glad you bring this up, because in your apartment, I've noticed a litter box in the corner for months. You claim to own a cat. I've never seen a cat in your house.
He's on vacation.
No, he doesn't. Cats don't go on vacation.
He's got a little suitcase.
He did, no, you go on. He has a little
He's
suitcase.
got a little suitcase.
Little
and
fedora,
there's
go
a little
on.
fedora. He goes to the little
Clip on tie, go on.
He cap on tap, and then he goes over to the airport, and then he
There are
walks through security.
human-sized shits in that litter box, and I want you to come clean.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have a
I'm
cat.
not-
His name is Mr. Peepers.
That is such bullshit.
Because he likes to peep on people around corners.
Just shut the fuck up, Chad.
You shut the fuck up.
I think I might go. There's. I think in real life,
Yeah.
I would go with the rubber nipples.
Rubber nipples.
Rubber nipples. Ren and Stimpy were rubber
But your
nipple
nipples
salesmen.
are... Oh, okay. I thought you were talking
They have
about
multiple uses.
Really?
Multiple uses. You can use them to warm your knees. You can
Really?
use them to change a light bulb on the ceiling with the
Oh.
suction.
Hmm.
You can wear them as a hat.
Oh.
Also, what else was there?
There was... you can use them for eye covers.
And nose hair clippings.
Nose hair clippings, yes.
Also, there's sugar sod pops.
Nose plugs, did you say that?
Nose plugs. So
Yeah.
I don't have to smell that cat box.
Hey, the cat box is for Mr. Peepers.
Brought to you by Gritty Kitty.
Gritty kitty litter.
If it ain't gritty, it ain't shitty.
Was that the...
No.
Oh, well. I don't think they want improvised.
Yeah, people don't tune in for an improvised thing.
Shut up.
They want Sugar Sod Pops, a cereal which tastes like freshly mowed lawn. So, here's where I want to go.
Okay.
Let's do Ask Dr. Stupid.
Ask Dr. Stupid. Classic. Classic Ren and Stimpy.
Now, for some of you, you know what this is, but for those of you that don't, Ask Dr. Stupid was an excerpt of the show, a little segment where a fan would write in and ask a question to Dr. Stupid, Stimpson. And the Stupitron helmet he wore? I forgot what it was, the Stupitron helmet or something. But he would put on this helmet to help him. It never actually helped him with the diagnosis.
No, not at all.
But here, for the first time ever, I love saying that because we only did like 6 shows or something. But for the first time ever, Raised by Tunes is going to ask Dr. Stupid. Chad, bring on the fan mail.
Here we go.
And let me get this helmet on right.
You tighten that? Get that buckle.
Yep.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Our first question is from Timmy from Connecticut.
Okay, good one, Timmy.
There has been a lot of snow on the East Coast lately.
Mm-hmm.
Where does it all come from?
Well, Timmy, what you don't understand is that snow is an actual byproduct of powdered toast companies.
Really?
You see how when water is purifying itself, it creates a sort of excess. That goes into the powdered toast companies. That excess. It drains into through a funnel system and shows up into the vat. Then, from there, it is purified into a powdered toast. However, where does that excess go? That turns into a white residue, which some may call sludge.
Okay.
The sludge then is filtered through photosynthesis, where it is absorbed into the clouds and becomes that brownish sort of dark color.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The cloud then takes on a human form and regurgitates white powder.
My God.
Yeah, it's terrifying and disgusting. Nature. It regurgitates white powder to the ground below, and only then will the sacrifice finally happen where it takes the life of the human, it's absorbed, and then it drops from the sky to only look like a charred mass, which is actually how the petroglyphs in Hawaii were formed.
Oh, wow. Very informative.
That one you didn't know.
All right. On to the second question.
Oh, there's more.
Yes, there is more. A question from Billy from Ohio.
Oh, hey, Billy. If you're listening in.
Everyone uses a number 2 pencil.
Mm-hmm.
If it's so popular, why is it still number 2?
That's an excellent question, Billy. Number 2 pencils were invented in 1847 by Jonathan Pencil, and when he originally created them, he had 3 pencils lined up. The first pencil was for the sort of upper class elite.
Okay.
It was for like the pencil thin mustaches with the top hats. Basically, if you could envision a Monopoly man, not the Pringles one, but the actual Monopoly man, Mr. Moneybucks, I think his name is. But
Close enough.
It was sort of reserved for them. But then a war broke out between the 2 and 3 pencil holders.
Oh, no.
It was a middle class, lower class civil war. So it was a class war, I guess is the word. So the classes were battling with each other, and they could only use pens. So they had to sharpen constantly. But back then, pencil sharpeners were about the size of a little school bus. So they had to constantly refurbish, and then the shuttles would come back in with the pencil shavings and hit people on their way in as well. The war lasted 113 years. Finally,
Tragic.
the survivors of 2 and 3 came together, and they rose up against the number 1 holders. And that's why number 1 doesn't exist anymore. And number 2 is the merged factor of the 2 and 3s. 3 doesn't exist either. It's just 2. Number 2. More of a symbol of unity.
Well, that mystery is solved. And on to the last question.
It's common history. Look it up.
On to the last question. It's from Christy from Texas.
Christy, what's your question?
What's the difference between a cat and a dog?
I'm glad you asked. One, cats were originally evolved from the platypus. Now, you're thinking that's ridiculous because the platypus has a duck bill and a beaver tail. That's where you're wrong. Because platypi birth eggs, like a chicken. And through these eggs, they can form into any creature. That's something science doesn't really tell you, because they don't want you to know the truth. But inside the eggs, you can form into any creature with just a slight change of your chromosomes. So the DNA code is subjugate to mass amounts of tweaking. So when the egg is laid from the platypi, there is a little worm called the infiltrate. And the infiltrate gets its name just like that. It infiltrates the egg. And then it can switch up the codes. So no matter what the code is, it can be switched up. And when this happens, more likely than not, there is an 86% chance that it will be a cat. And then dogs are just from heaven.
I see. Well, that was very enlightening. And that has been our segment.
Thank you.
Asking Dr. Stupid.
You ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer.
Ba-da-boop.
Ba-da-da-da.
All right.
Well, thanks. We're sorry we wasted so much of your time.
Oh,
But
you're already at work.
you're stuck in traffic and can't do anything about it. So, where are we going to go next?
Standards and practices?
Standards and practices. Chad, hit us up with some standards and practices.
You don't want...
Hey,
Bad.
Mr. Horse, what do you think about standards and practices?
No, sir, I don't like it.
Fuck yeah, Mr.
Oh,
Horse.
yeah.
Oh! Mr. Horse. Okay, sorry, what? Standards and practices.
No, that's pretty much all I had to say about standards and practices.
Let's get into what everyone wants.
Okay,
What
do the people want?
Let's do the top 5 cringeworthy moments.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, like I said, Ren and Stimpy has a deep psychological thing where Ren is just a loose cannon sort of...
Emotionally unstable, psychotic
He's
dog.
on the brink at all times. However, besides that, Ren and Stimpy is absolutely disgusting. And you're thinking, oh yeah, they had a few gross close-ups. No!
No.
Chad, number 5.
Number 5 was Wilbur Cobb. He was this old man who...
Wilbur Cobb was...
He interacted with Ren and Stimpy.
I'm just going to say, he was like a begrudging old fool who was known for close-ups where his stupidity drove him...
Well, it was more his age that made him stupid, because he like picks up a conch shell and he puts it to his ear as a phone, and once it's moved, there's a hermit crab coming out of his ear, and like just the close-up of that with little cilia of hairs just popping out and like old spots.
This hacking up a lung
sound.
sound.
The mucus and hacking, coughing alone was just disturbing.
Just don't get old, everybody. Toonsters, if you're listening in and you are aging as I'm speaking, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you just gotta go to Toys R Us. You gotta find the giraffe.
Don't tell them.
What? I thought...
They don't deserve it.
I guess. I mean, the giraffe blood, there's not a lot of it.
It is not I who am insane. It is I who am mad. Quote, motherfucker spaceman-ness. Anyway, number 4, Nurse Stimpy episode. Known for the most grotesque close-ups and more often than any of them.
You know how you look in the mirror when you're sick? Like that, but times 10 million.
Ren and Stimpy made it so you don't... Like, I could never be a medical profession or a dentist or a dermatologist because the close-ups they do are not so far-fetched. They're just exaggerated, which is even worse because it looks more human than cartoon at the point.
Like that, it's like an HD camera was put to the actual animation slide, and it's a close-up, and you just see this blemish that is so wrinkled and
there's always
shiny
pus
and
dripping
cut.
out.
Oh yeah.
There's...
Oh wait, wasn't he the skin
His skin
taken off in that episode?
Yeah, his skin was taken off so he could take the bath.
Oh.
But the gross chapped lips.
Oh, yeah.
Just so Nurse Stimpy episodes at our number 4. At number 3
was the Magic Nose Goblins.
Oh.
They were Stimpy's collection of, when he picked his nose, he would place them in a tray or under.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it was in a
Under
tray,
his
but it
table.
was it was under his table, in like a sort of a tray-ish shape. But didn't they come alive? They moved around too.
No, they were just stationary things.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
Magic Nose Goblins is a great term for
It
a
is.
booger, though.
use it at
Use it.
school. Use it with your
teachers
mom
will
and
love
dad at the dinner table.
Hey, you want
On
to
a
be
date?
popular? Are you too fat? Are you too ugly? You want to make friends? You don't want to be like Chad here, do ya?
Yeah,
You want to be like me?
with Magic Nose Goblins.
Yeah, get them nose goblins. Number 2.
Is a Ren rubbed against man's stubble.
Also known as Mr. Pipe.
Mr. Pipe.
When there's this episode, which you will all remember, and we'll put the link up to it on our site.
Yeah.
I remember, which I'm not going to. I don't owe
You
you
guys
shit.
should look it up.
I don't get paid to do this.
No, we don't.
But there is a thing where the man is his father figure, and Ren and Stimpy are pretending to be babies so they can get the care that a baby would. And the father rubs Ren's face against his stubble, and they go into 3 shots. One, you see Ren's face against his cheek. The other, you see it grating against the stubble. And then the last one, you can see the pores spitting out little gross skin pellets or flakes or something.
It's very unappealing. You wouldn't want to give someone a hug after that. You wouldn't want to nuzzle next to your loved one because she didn't shave a part of her, skin.
Number 1.
Okay.
The number 1 cringeworthy moment
Yeah.
is when Ren removes his nerve endings.
And that's in his teeth, folks. In his teeth.
This is the episode called Ren's Toothache, where Stimpy brushes his teeth every night, and it's the most gut-wrenching sounds of jackhammers and awfulness, which makes you don't even want to brush your teeth after you hear it. But until you see the other side of the spectrum, where Ren's teeth are so gross and dissolved and smelling, and he grinds them down to a dust in his sleep.
Puff out right into a pile. But the fact, though, as it started when he first got that toothache, everybody who's ever had a toothache knows that throbbing, and just the exaggerated pulsing of it in the cartoon just makes you feel...
They did an amazing job with the sounds.
Yeah. Like, I grabbed my cheek when I was hearing him just moan and groan of pain.
What a lot of you don't know is that the tooth beavers think that nerve endings are the tastiest treat. So what they try to do is feast on them, which causes pain in the tooth.
Now, I mean, you would think, how would they get there? But that's not part of...
But don't worry about
That's
it.
not important at all.
That's not your place.
Just they're there and they're feasting on your nerve endings.
Yeah, so the tooth beaver, as everyone knows, feasts on the nerve endings, and he found out through Stimpy that if you put your nerve endings under your pillow, the tooth fairy, or the nerve ending fairy...
Yeah, the nerve ending fairy will come and give you hundreds of dollars.
So they show him with tweezers.
Oh.
Individually plucking out these strands hanging from gaping smell holes in his mouth.
Stink holes, I think he called them?
Stink holes.
Oh, even the flies feeding off the poop-riddled kitty litter box was offended by that smell.
Disgusting.
And, I mean...
Speaking of Ren...
Yeah?
Ren's my favorite character.
Really?
I used to relate more to Stimpy when I was younger.
Okay.
Ren's my guy now.
Because you're a little bit more angry?
Yeah, I'm a little bitter now. I'm a little...
you
know what the thing is? I get him. And when people are pissing him off, I get it. Because he comes home from work and shit... Like, for example... Here, let's go into this. Top 3 moments Ren snapped.
Oh. Well, obviously... Are we giving order to these, or we're just naming the top 3 that
I have an order.
Any
Do you have any order?
I don't really. I mean, they're all
I'm doing from like the top 3, but the the least amount of that he snapped to the most
Okay.
insane dribble I've ever
Well,
heard.
I really would only have 2.
How about I start with Space Madness?
Okay, go with those.
Space Madness was Commander Hoek and Cadet Stimpy.
Yeah.
A little sideshow, like a one off the premise sort of thing that they would do.
They're not normally in space.
It almost seemed like they were in a different universe during these episodes.
Yeah.
But there was one where Ren was getting space madness and was taking a bath and started eating the bar of soap because it was his favorite ice cream bar. And Stimpy sees this and wrestles him to it. However, Commander Hoek is in charge of the do not push explode button. And with him no longer at the helm and going batshit crazy, he does like a little monologue.
Yeah.
That I don't even know if I have it. He goes, I'll just lie back and think pleasant thoughts. Chicken pot pie. Chocolate covered raisins. But he's like, I don't know. He's talking about the wax paper and boiled football leather, dog breath. We're not hitchhiking anymore, we're riding. Like, he just goes into a crazy tangent. But anyway, Stimpy pushes the button because he's enticed by the narrator. Everything explodes, including the world and the title screen. Take us to number 2.
Number 2. I mean, number 2 and number 1 are so close to each other. But number 2, I would say, would be the episode where his cousin Sven Hoek visits their home, and he looks very similar to Stimpy.
I believe,
but he is a dog still. He is a dog.
He's Ren's cousin. That I think the episode's called Sven Hoek.
Yeah, Sven Hoek, pretty much. And he comes there, and he's as stupid as Stimpy. And they obviously Ren. He goes to work, and he pretty much comes back, and he finds that Sven and Stimpy has ruined most of his precious belongings. He is
only you as Sven. He is only you as Sven.
To give you a taste.
That's pretty much Sven. So he just starts losing it. He names off all the objects that they've ruined. His bacteria. Oh, well, here we go.
I knew it! Cat dirt everywhere! Well, at least I'm home. I can follow my intellectual pursuits.
Let's skip to the madness.
Right.
Hey, here. This is the best part.
Yeah.
First, I'm gonna tear your lips out.
Tear your lips out.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. And then, I'm gonna gouge your eyes out. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. We don't like this, friend. Yeah, you scary us. Good. You scared, huh?
Nobody did this in cartoons.
No, this was unheard of.
Tear your arms out of the socket.
Just the music alone adds to his mental break, and it's just that much more disturbing.
It is. Ren and Stimpy is one of the only shows to make me feel truly uncomfortable.
I mean, I don't remember if I was very comfortable watching it around my parents because
oh yeah, lots of kids
it was
weren't
like
allowed to.
It was like the situation with South Park where parents were not really happy about kids watching that. It was sort of the same with this when it was on, and I just was like, maybe I should turn the channel because
Hugely popular with college campuses though.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had
Oh,
viewing
definitely.
parties.
Yeah.
And eventually it became just more geared towards that. John Kay never said it was going to be an educational, fun, freeloading show. It was always going to... They always
Not
had
in the
it
contract.
Number 1. I remember... We can just glaze by this since we're using some time, but
Yeah.
there's this episode called Stimpy's Fan Club, and while Stimpy's sleeping, Ren is just hovering above him like a lunatic in this very scary trance where it's so ridiculous.
He's pretty much jealous of Stimpy's fan mail, and it just gets to him so deeply that he can't sleep, and he's just contemplating ways to kill Stimpy, or even to ruin his credibility as the lovable cat, the lovable character of Ren and Stimpy.
It's just so silly to hold a grudge like that, you know?
Yeah, but, you know, sometimes it's
like, get over it, Ren.
It makes sense, though. I mean, I kind of side with Ren.
I mean, if he's more popular, he's more popular. If
but,
he's more talkative, he's more talkative.
Maybe the other person should be a little bit more considerate.
Nah, you do you, Stimpy. You do you.
Okay.
You seem a little upset.
I'm a little verklempt, but you know, I mean, it's pretty much well, should we rate the show? I think. I mean,
yeah,
we don't want to forget, like we
should.
So what would you give this show?
The Ren and Stimpy Show was iconic in a sense that when I watched it as a kid, it was something I've never seen before. It made me think of things I've never thought before. It brought up topics and visual things that made me question a lot, because everything on TV then, to give you a taste, was a pup named Scooby-Doo and Tiny Toons, things like that. So nothing was really... Tiny Toons was a little...
Did you question your existence?
I questioned my existence once in a while with Ren and Stimpy. But it transcended cartoons to where they are now with Family Guys and stuff like that, where it's just common knowledge. I mean, just old hat. So, because of that, I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4?
And here's the reason I didn't give it a 5.
Okay.
The show itself is funny as hell. It holds up. You're going to watch it today and realize things you've never seen before about it. However, when John Kay was fired in 1993, like we said, the psychological complexities were replaced with just more violence, and they just didn't translate as well as the first 3 seasons. So that's why you got a 4. 4 magic nose goblins.
4 magic nose goblins. Well, I'm gonna have to say that even though the first 3 seasons were much better, I did follow the last 2, and I did enjoy the slapstick that they used. And I mean, some of it more violent than the others, but they still... Billy West held up both characters after that when they switched from John. And I'd really say I'd have to give it a 5 Magic Nose Goblin out of 5.
Very nice, Chad. Excellent review.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up for us here at Raised by Toons. I hope you enjoyed the Ren and Stimpy special we had. And you can reach us at raisedbytoonspodcast@gmail.com. You can also like us on Facebook. We're almost at 2K.
Ooh, yeah.
Almost at 2,000 followers.
And we're a little lacking on Twitter, so get on there, folks.
Or else.
Yeah.
You know where you live.
I will hurt you.
It's called an IP address. We'll trace you. Also, listen to us on iTunes. Subscribe to Raised by Toons.
Raised by Toons, folks.
And, well, that's going to be it for us.
No, wait.
That's all.
Wait, hold on. I think we should end on a happier note, right? You know, this is Ren and Stimpy. Let's be happy. Okay. That being said, I invented these 2 hats. Really, it's a blueprint from Stimpy. They're happy hats. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, here, I'm going to put one on myself.
Look safe.
Okay,
Chad, get
buckle it in. And then we're going to put one on
it's
you.
Just choking
We're just going to put one
Chad,
on you.
Chad,
just buckle
come on,
it.
hey!
Okay. And then we're just going to...
Chad,
We're going to hit the button.
Chad,
1,
no.
2,
No, Chad, no!
3!
Hello, boys and girls. This is your old pal, Stinky Wizzleteats. This is a song about a whale. No! This is a song about being happy. That's right. It's the happy, happy, joy, joy song.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy.
Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy.
I don't think you're happy enough.